Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie Collab. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this.
Can you create amazing, magnificent results in your business, in your life, without killing yourself, without burning yourself out, without hustling till your eyes bleed? That is definitely a topic that I've been talking about since I began my podcast last year in May. And the answer is yes. Yes, you can, because I am flippin' doing it. And the thing is, in our society, we talk so much about hard work and we're proud of our hard work. And people will compliment us and say things like, look how hard you worked. Oh my God, congratulations. And I'm not for 1 second undermining work ethic, because I do have a great work ethic. I do believe that we should show up and do our best. And I said my best because something happened last week where I did a podcast and the quality, it sounded like I had a bunch of marbles in my mouth. And the team sent me the podcast and they're like, can you take a look at this and listen? So I listened to the podcast. I'm like, yes, it sounds like I have marbles in my mouth. So then I sent them my version of the podcast and it sounded better, but it still sounded tunnely. Like I was stuck in a tunnel. And I think I know what happened. I was recording it in the car. Sometimes I'm just more comfortable in the car. I don't have all the dogs around me. And I asked myself, is this the quality that I want to put out there? And the answer was no. I don't want to put poor quality content out there because it's a representation of who I am. And if I'm putting out crappy content, then I'm going to attract clients that have a standard that is not my standard. And so I said, please give me a few minutes. I really have an amazing team. And they said, no worries. So I got myself together and I recorded the podcast. I got myself into my office, set up my microphone, and I was able to record a quality podcast for you. All that to say is that work ethic to me really does matter. And I know you'll be able to relate to this. There are so many people, and I used to be one of them, who was afraid of resting, who was afraid of just kind of chilling out and being relaxed, because I thought that in order for me to be worthy and to show my worth to people, that I had to be busy all the freaking time. And the truth is that when I had quiet time, I didn't know what to do with myself, and it made me extremely anxious. It was really a soul issue. It was really an issue of not being able to be comfortable with myself in silence. And so if this is something that you resonate with, I'm going to tell you, it's probably not going to change overnight. It did not change for me overnight. And I think a lot of people too, they have a lot of different coping mechanisms on how to relax. I used to be the person who would have a glass of wine in order to unwind. I don't do that anymore because it makes me feel like crap. I don't engage in behaviors that don't make me feel good, but I had to learn. And one of the things that I learned was through meditation, through going for a walk, through enjoying nature, through taking a bubble bath, through journaling. I mean, these all sound like very feminine practices, and they are feminine practices, but I wanted to say, like, are you for real, Barbie? Do you really go out in nature and walk? And do you really take a bubble bath? Actually, yes, I really do. But I added little things to my practice, little by little. And I got rid of some of the bad habits like drinking wine at night or working myself till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night because I couldn't stand to be with myself. And I'm really talking about when I was single. I mean, I had a hard time being alone. So if that is you, just know that you can grow your self-love and that there are different books. I've talked about Radical Self-Love. That's the name of the book by Tara Brach. But it really all comes back to worthiness. And I wish that this conversation on worthiness, I wish someone would have had it with me from the very beginning. We're going to be talking more about money. I love talking about money and money mindset and how to manifest money. I'm going to be having some guest speakers soon. But at the root, when I begin my Money Magnet courses, we really do talk about worthiness. Because if you don't believe that you are worthy of receiving, and I'm not just talking about money, if you don't believe that you're worthy of receiving love, if you don't believe that you're worthy of receiving success, if you don't believe that you're worthy of having nice things, of living the life that you desire, even though you're doing all the things, meaning you're setting the goals, you have your vision board, you're taking action and you think it's aligned action. But if deep inside of you, you don't feel that you are worthy, manifesting the life that you want is going to be challenging. So I want to share a little bit of my story. I know that some of you may have heard part of my story, but I absolutely was someone that needed validation growing up. So my brother had cancer when he was a child. He's thriving and doing great. He's a video journalist now. But because so much of the attention went to my brother when I was young, because he needed care, I was a very bright girl. My mom knew that I could handle it. Well, I didn't get the attention that I required, that I needed as a little child. And I got a lot of that validation from amazing teachers in school who gave me all the gold stars. And I was one of those elementary school kids who would get there early and the teachers let me wash the board. And I was definitely the teacher's pet. Oh, it felt so good. I loved it so much. But here's the problem. We know that our subconscious mind gets programmed from 0 to 7. We're just recording every single thing that ever happens in our life. And we're using that information as a roadmap on how to navigate this world. So whatever it is that you learned as a child, this is what you're acting out and the information that you're basing life on as an adult. It's that simple. Yes, it is that simple. 95% of our actions are coming from the subconscious. Very few of our decisions are really conscious decisions. And we don't even know it. We're not even aware of it. And so the problem with this is that when we are adults, and this happened to me absolutely in my network marketing business, I was having so much fun building my network marketing business. But it was a system that was very much based on recognition. And I guess many companies are. So this is not a question about blaming anyone. It was so amazing to me to be part of this company that gave me trophies and medals and trips based on my achievement. I don't see a problem with that. The problem was within myself that I equated success and achievement with worthiness. And what happens when you're not succeeding? When you're not succeeding, it means that you're not worthy. And let's go back to money for a second. You are worthy whether you have $0 in your bank account, whether you have minus $50 in your bank account, or whether you have $50 million in your bank account. Money is just about having. It has nothing to do with worthiness. And this is a really hard concept to swallow, but it's hard to swallow because we've based so much of our worthiness and our sense of selves based on what we have. And we think, when I have this, I'm going to be really worthy and I'm going to feel a certain way. But the truth is that you're worthy. You were worthy the day that you were born. And I always use this example. A baby that is born, whether the mother keeps this baby or not, or gives this baby up for adoption, the baby is worthy. What could you have possibly done to be unworthy? If you're listening to this podcast, what could you have possibly done to be unworthy? There's nothing that you could have done in order to make yourself unworthy. And I know a lot of people that listen to my podcast believe in God. Like, in God's eyes, are you unworthy? How could you be unworthy? None of us is perfect. So where do we go from here? My desire for you is that in 2023, especially, this is the perfect time to have this conversation. You have goals on your mind. You're ready to do big things. You're excited to make a difference in the world. You want to attract leaders. You want to be a leader. You're doing all the things. You're having so much fun. You are ready to conquer the world. Do it from a base, from a foundation of worthiness. And just know that you're worthy. I'm building this business from a foundation of worthiness. I don't believe that I built my network marketing business knowing that I was worthy. I was having fun, and I got to a point that because I didn't realize that I was worthy, because I wasn't able to fully see myself, I'm just going to say it, how freaking awesome I am and what a good leader I am, then I was not a match for people who were leaders. I was a match for people who really needed to be, not always, because I absolutely have leaders on my team, so I want to make that clear. But a lot of times I was a match for people who didn't see their own self-worth, and they wanted me to see their self-worth. And because I didn't see my self-worth, then I overworked and I over-delivered and I overgave and I overextended myself, and I did way too many Zoom calls. And so I didn't feel worthy. They didn't feel worthy. They sought worthiness from me. Do you see the cycle? And it's just a freaking poop show. Whereas if I'm starting from this point, and including in my network marketing business, I've changed. I'm worthy. I know what I'm bringing to the table. I'm a worthy human being. And no matter what I do, I am going to prosper, and I am worthy. I can't remember who said it. Everything else is sprinkles. Everything else that I do, anything that I do, it's sprinkles and it's glitter and it's extra. It's like a cherry on top. And so I'm not going to put it out there in the universe that I could fail, because in my eyes, I cannot fail. I've already won with the podcast, with my network marketing business, with my course offerings. But let's just say, hypothetically, I were to start something and it didn't have success. Would that make me unworthy? No, it would just mean sometimes I discover I'm really not good at this. Like, I'm really not good at technology. That's probably not going to change. I know enough to create things that will work, but I also know when I have to outsource and get other people to help me. So let's say you start a business and you don't have success. And that, by the way, just saying that for me was extremely difficult. Right now, the past minute, saying that I possibly could not have success was extremely difficult. Why? Because I 100% believe that if I start something, I put my whole heart in it, and I 100%, like, I just know in my soul that I'm going to be successful at something. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to do it. But that said, I'm not good at everything. I'm not good at a lot of things, but then I'm smart enough to hire someone that can help me. So it really is this simple for you to start 2023 from a standpoint of worthiness. If you're building a business, know that you're worthy. If you're looking to improve your relationship, if you're in an existing relationship, you're both worthy. You're building from worthiness. If you are looking for a soulmate, know that you are worthy, because if you don't know that you are worthy, then you're going to be seeking validation from somebody else. And that sounds painful to me. I've also been there. I've gone through a lot, and I hope you know that. I hope you know that everything I teach is really from my experience, and it's never from like this high perch that I know what that I'm better than other people. No, not at all. It's from experience. It's from breaking my own heart. It's from disappointing myself. It's from not believing in myself, or it's believing that I thought I believed in myself, but then I really didn't. And then the aftermath of that. And if you're in business, know that if somebody says no to you, and they say no to your product, or they say no to the relationship, that doesn't mean that you're not worthy. It just means that maybe you're not the right person for them. And if you're not the right person for them, then they're not the right person for you either. And it's the same thing with business. You are worthy, my friend. And from that standpoint, you can be magnetic. From that standpoint, you can attract whatever it is that you want in your life. And like I said, we're going to be talking more about money and finances and wealth, but the foundation is you're worthy. Thank you so much for being with me on this episode. I do want to ask you for a review. So please leave a review. My goal for this year is to expand my audience. And this is how it's done. It's through your reviews, because the famous algorithm loves reviews. So I would love to ask you for one. And if you don't know how to leave them, you could just go to the main page of the podcast and you'll see leave a review. But you can also shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook and I'll send you a little video on how to do that. And if you haven't already, join my Magnetic Portal community where we're just connecting and having deep conversations. I will see you next time. Have a beautiful rest of your week.
If you loved this episode and if you're loving my podcast, I would love for you to leave a review. They really do make a difference in spreading the word and having more people be impacted. Also, I'd love for you to join me in my Facebook community called The Magnetic Portal. You can find the link in the show notes. I'll see you next time.